probably the smallest man in the tournament, but I don't reckon that matters. Look, you've got the size of fellas like Big Papa T, big, massive, great big 22-stone geezers. Hey, I'm Phil Powers, I'm only 12 stone nothing, and I'm about 5'3", but that doesn't matter because I've got 100% of British wrestling behind me. You've also got a good friend of mine, Paul Sloan. I don't reckon it'll happen, but if it did, we'll just wait and see. We've got Johnny Storm, not even worth talking about, really. We've got Danny Rawl, Kerry Cabrero, two very, very good athletes, but if they end up on the receiving end of like one of the dropkick of the tops, they could end up flying outside the ring. Mad Dog stood me for, yeah, he might be a hell of a lot bigger than me, but what happened when I powerbombed him? Let's take a look at Hot Stuff Stevie Knight. Well, I'm going to tell you something. Steve Knight is going to take a look at what's hot and what's not, courtesy of Phil Powers. And let's take a look at the fallen angel, Christopher Daniels. All I can say is, it's time for action now. Pure 100% action. Let's see what happens in that ring. You're going to see the Fly Phil Powers become the first UWA television champion.
I think names that stick out, obviously, Kerry Cabrero. I think with Kerry Cabrero, it's going to be a very interesting battle if I do meet him, because if you look at one side of the coin, I know him and I know all his strengths. But on the other side, it works the other way. He knows me and he knows all of mine. So I think the man that will win that one will be the man with luck. You know, it's been said a million times over that success is 50% ability, 50% luck. Let's see what happens.
It's an opportunity which all us young wrestlers have never had before, and I do believe I should come through on top.
Okay, so I'm number one in the TV title elimination tournament. Well, I don't think that's a problem. I mean, I've only got 9 other guys to beat, and they will all succumb to the chaos theory.
Well, let's look at the competition in the UWA at the moment. And you have athletes like British Beef Danny Royal. You know, you have Paul Sloan. You know, good competitors, but at the end of the day, they're no match for the likes of the anarchist Doug Williams, Johnny Storm, Mad Dog, and one other competitor in the UWA, and I have to mention this, Mr. Phil Powers. I don't think so. Nobody in the UWA has got anything on my guys. So throw in Phil Powers, throw in Big Papa T. Yeah, Big Papa T is a threat, but not that much of a threat. You put anybody in the ring with somebody from Steve Linsky's stable, they're finished. History.
You want to see some heavy stuff? We're going to be here.
Hello and welcome to an all-important edition of UWA Wrestling Rampage. I'm Dan Belenko, and in the next hour we'll see the crowning of the first ever UWA television champion. 10 top athletes will enter the ring. Only one will take home that prestigious new title. It's a winner-stays-on tournament, which means the later you enter, the better your chance of winning. The 10 contenders are Phil Powers.
What a great flying maneuver by Flying Phil Powers.
Paul Sloan.
Look at the power in Paul Sloan's arms.
Big Papa T.
No, you can have a job shifting him.
Danny Royal.
Picks him up. Huge press slam.
Hot Stuff Stevie Knight.
One of the most devastating moves in the world today.
The fallen angel Christopher Daniels.
Flips right over Doug Williams.
Kerry Cabrero.
Oh, superb!
And of course, manager Steve Linsky's terrible trio. That is, the anarchist Doug Williams.
Jumps up, head between the legs, roll backwards.
Johnny Storm.
Here it comes now. Superb.
And Mad Dog McPhee.
Get in there and get fighting, just like Mad Dog McPhee.
Things have really been heating up in recent weeks. Phil Powers suffered a vicious sneak attack at the hands of Mad Dog and Johnny Storm 2 weeks ago, while the anarchist and Stevie Knight have been engaged in a battle that has been both physical and psychological.
Stevie Knight there, distracted the referee.
The order of entry has been determined by a random draw, with the exception of first and last place, the 2 spots that carry with them respectively the worst and best chance of winning. Stevie Knight's interference cost Doug a crucial match against the Fallen Angel, meaning that American Christopher Daniels will take the coveted 10 spot, while Doug Williams will be the first to enter the ring, leaving him with 9 huge obstacles to overcome if he wants to be the first UWA television champion. Earlier today, Jamila tried to catch a few comments from the entire Linsky mob as they arrived at the arena.
Hi, I'm Jamila and I'm here outside Crystal Palace waiting for the wrestlers to turn up. In fact, there's Steve Linsky. Let's go and talk to him. Hi, Steve.
Hey, whoa, no
Wait,
comment.
the 10-man tournament.
No comment.
Tell me.
No comment.
Are you afraid?
Look, I'm going to say this once, I'll say it again. No comment.
Leave him alone.
Who knows? Maybe he's frightened, but we'll find out tonight how he's going to do.
Tempers will certainly be running high as we head down to ringside for this historic 10-man winner-stays-on gauntlet match, which will decide the winner of the first UWA television title.
This is a 10-man winner-stays-on over-the-top rope for pinfall bout for the UWA Television Championship. Okay, so the rules for the 10-man winner-stays-on bout is as follows. 10 wrestlers have drawn lots to determine which position they enter the ring. A new wrestler can only enter once the previous match has been concluded, and the match can only be won by ejecting your opponents either over the top rope or pinning them on the mat. And first, having lost his battle against Fallen Angel, coming through now is the Anarchist.
Well, fans, welcome and let's cut to the chase. I'm Ross the Boss Gordon, alongside me Steve Morgan, and here we have Doug Williams, a great athlete, and I can sit here with Steve and pay compliments to this man, but paying compliments doesn't pay the bills. The gold pays the bills, fans, and in plain English, this is what counts.
You're absolutely right there, Ross, because victories pay the rent. And I tell you, if the wrestling world was a house, that man, Doug Williams, would be an ideal tenant.
And here's one of your favourites now, Steve. It's Big Papa T. And you know, no prizes for who your favourite is. Nice to see you modelling a Big Papa T mask today.
I thought you'd like it, Ross, you kinky devil. But I've got to tell you, my allegiances are split here today because, of course, I love Big Papa T, but I was outraged a couple of weeks ago when Doug Williams was cheated of his victory against the fallen angel, Christopher Daniels, by that rogue, Stevie Knight.
Steve, I'm just noticing here, at ringside we have Rebecca. She's alongside Big Papa T, but why is Steve Linsky not there?
Good question, Ross, and I'll tell you why, because those UWA officials have seen it in their wisdom, and I'll use that in a very loose
Oh my!
wisdom.
Oh my! Big Papa T, not even a second into the contest, has been eliminated. He was too busy, preoccupied, talking to Rebecca about their strategy, obviously, and Big Papa T has been eliminated.
Well, before I was rudely interrupted there by you, Ross, I can just inform you that the UWA officials have deemed it unnecessary for Steve Linsky to be ringside because he's got 3 competitors in this event and Rebecca only has 1.
Tonight's my big chance, the TV title. I'm the biggest underdog in there, but I'm going in and giving my best shot. I'm going to win.
That was pre-recorded comments there from Paul Sloan as he hits the ring. Of course, a bit of history between these two guys. Doug Williams wrestles in the camp of Steve Linsky. We all know the history between Linsky and Phil Powers. And of course, that man in the ring there, Paul Sloan, is Phil Powers' protege. And we have a giant swing there by Doug Williams on Paul Sloan, Steve.
Paul Sloan better say his prayers because Doug Williams is a man out there this evening with a point to prove, and he's going to take it out on Paul Sloan.
You know, Steve, I really wonder what advice Phil will have given Paul Sloan about taking on the Anarchist and the whole event. You know, we don't even know. At some point, we could see Phil Powers facing either Doug or his own protege, Paul Sloan.
You're absolutely correct there, because in this TV tournament, it is a case of every man for himself. But the advice I hope Phil Powers would have given Paul Sloan here against the Anarchist Doug Williams is run! Get out of the ring, because you're going to get your butt kicked.
Here we go for a cover. 1, 2, 3. The Anarchist stays in the tournament.
The winner of the next stage is the Anarchist.
Here we see Big Papa T being eliminated early on in the matchup. And there we have the German suplex for the 1, for the 2, and the 3.
2 down and 7 to go. Who's next for Doug Williams? Find out after this.
Steve.
He is, and he's hungry for it, and I've told you that early on, Ross. But the question is, who's next?
Who is it? Oh my God, it's Steve Knight. Steve Knight and Doug Williams are gonna get it on here tonight in the Ultimate Wrestling Alliance. This is the match that 4 weeks ago, Steve Linsky prevented us from seeing. There's a great deal of history between these two. Of course, Stevie Knight is the reason that Doug Williams was in the tournament in the first position.
You're absolutely right. He cheated him. Why don't you just say it, Ross? Come out with it and say it. That man, Stevie Knight, hot stuff, more like a damp squib, cheated Doug out of a victory against the fallen angel Christopher Daniels.
Well, you could call it from that point of view, Steve. You could look at it that way. But these men, they're not really interested in getting a victory here, I don't think. They just want to hurt each other. They're brawling in the middle of the crowd, using a chair there by Steve Knight. Action galore here.
The thing is, neither of them are going to win it outside the ring. They've got to get back in there.
That's extremely true, Steve. You can't win the match on the outside. You only go on in the tournament if you eliminate a man by pinfall or by throwing him over the top rope. And look, Steve, Doug was not eliminated there. He was thrown through the middle rope. Both men are still in the contest. Steve, go on, pick me an advancee from here. Which out of these two do you see going through in the tournament?
I can't believe you're even asking me that question. I cannot believe I've just heard you say that. Of course it's going to be Doug, because I'm going to tell you, things are going to come full circle here now, and Doug is going to get his well-deserved victory against Stevie Knight.
Well, he certainly might, because Stevie Knight misses with that great headbutt.
I'm enjoying every second of it, Russ.
And look, a fisherman suplex for the one, for the two. Oh, just a 2 count there. You know, Steve, I'm not sure who's going to advance. Both these men are very talented. Both have great attitudes and both are very cocky. But no matter what you think of their attitudes, you must respect their wrestling ability.
I respect Doug Williams because he's a class act, that boy. Absolutely top gear. That fella there, he is a cheat, he is a scoundrel, and I'll say it again, he's a rogue!
And of course, the anarchist Doug Williams, Steve, has never broken any rules.
Not that I've seen.
And not his stable belonging to Steve Linsky has never broken any rules.
Steve Linsky is a responsible and well-respected manager. Now, I don't know what you're trying to insinuate there, but I'm sure Mr. Linsky would like to hear, because he'd like to sue you.
Well, I have video evidence to prove it. You've seen it. I don't have to say any more as we see a big whip there and a great leaping clothesline by Doug the Anarchist Williams. And of course, Steve, 2 competitors we haven't seen yet in the tournament, Mad Dog and Johnny Storm, again of Steve Linsky's stable. Of course, they've never broken the rules, have they? They've never interfered in any matches, have they, Steve? Have they?
I've never seen it. Now, I don't know what you're trying to imply. I have never seen it happen.
Well, what we are, Steve, tonight going to see is one of these men advance in the tournament. A very evenly paced match so far, seesawing back and forth. Tremendous action here in the UWA as Steve Knight hits a big swinging back elbow.
Well, considering that Doug's had 2 matches already, I think he's bearing up very well, because, of course, Stevie Knight comes in, he's a fresh pair of legs, and Doug Williams has already had 2 battles.
Oh, a clash of the heads knocks both men down onto the canvas. That's gonna hurt, Steve, that's gonna hurt. Both men's skulls crashing together in the center of the ring. And they're trying to get back to their feet here. And Stevie Knight goes over. What's going on here? Doug's been eliminated. Doug's been... But look at the pain. Look at the pain on Steve Knight's face. His ankle is trapped. That could break his ankle, and he has now been eliminated. I'm getting so excited. We've had 2 men eliminated at the same time.
You calm down, Ross. You calm down. This is unbelievable. But now the match carries on. They just want to hurt each other. They don't care that they're both eliminated. They just want to hurt each other. And I tell you what, Doug Williams, give him a few from me.
Well, Steve, that's all extremely true. But it's winner stays on rules, Steve. Winner stays on. Who's staying on? We don't have a winner.
Well, it looks as though they're both staying on. They don't want to leave. They're just going to carry on fighting.
As they continue to brawl up the aisle, the officials are trying to break them up, but they're not succeeding.
Oh, yes, Doug. He's got a score to settle here. It doesn't matter that it's not in the ring.
Look at the brawling going on here. These men really have a passion of hate for each other as the officials now step in, trying to scurry them to the back. There we see action from earlier. Steve Knight tossing Doug Williams over the barrier and into the crowd, Steve.
The question is, Ross, my young and highly excitable friend from north of the border, what are the Muppets who pass as UWA officials going to do now with both these guys eliminated? Who are going to take their places in the ring? That's the question.
Well, I don't know exactly who. It's going to have to be two new competitors, I presume, two fresh faces into the tournament, as we see that great suplex on the outside by Steve Knight. And here we see the double elimination from the tournament. Steve Knight sacrifices himself to eliminate Doug Williams, then gets his ankle trap. That could have broken his ankle if the ropes had twisted in the wrong way. And then, of course, Steve Knight falls to the outside. Both men eliminated. Steve?
Unbelievable stuff. I mean, Stevie Knight was trying to cling on there for dear life, but the pain, Ross, was just too much.
And who could we see next? Who could we see next, Steve, in the elimination tournament? Could it be Mad Dog McPhee or even Phil Powers? Of course, a bit of hatred between those two. Or it could be the great friends of Kerry Cabrero and Danny Royal. And not forgetting, of course, Johnny Storm and the imported Fallen Angel, Christopher Daniels. Any of those guys could be in next in any combination. What is guaranteed, Steve, is that we're going to see tremendous action here tonight in this 10-man elimination tournament in the Ultimate Wrestling Alliance.
And I don't want viewers at home to think that there's any animosity here between Ross and myself, even though we haven't spoken together for the past half an hour. It's just because I can't get a damn word in edgeways.
And it's Kerry Cabrero. Thanks for those comments, Steve.
Kerry! But who is he going to be up against?
Well, as I said, it could be one of numerous people, but what is guaranteed, we're going to have some great action, I'm sure. Kerry, not one to let the fans down.
Number 6 is Danny Royal.
Whoa! The ex-tag team partners are about to get it on.
10-man gauntlet, 9 guys, British beef, Danny Royal. I know who my money's on. 100% beef. I'm going to beat you up. I'm going to throw you out. One man standing, Danny Royal.
As the friends take it to each other, it's Danny versus Kerry. It's friend versus friend. It's the beef bomb versus the flatliner. And who do you call, Steve? Who do you see coming out on top here and staying on in the tournament?
Well, I think if I was a betting man, I'd have to go with Kerry Cabrero.
Well, in that case, I'm going for the beef man, Danny Royal, Steve. But of course, it could go either way. As Danny Royal said last week, it's 50% talent, 50% luck. As we see this tremendous gut-wrench powerbomb, look at the impact of Kerry Cabrero's back smashing down on the canvas. And fans, we're going to have to cut to a commercial. Stay tuned for some more tremendous action. Look at all the eliminations so far. There's Big Papa T, then Paul Sloan going down at the hands of the Anarchist. And here we see Stevie Knight sacrificing himself to eliminate Doug Williams. We're just hearing that the officials have only recently just broken them up. They were continuing to brawl in the locker room areas, continuing to brawl. What do you think of that, Steve?
Well, I support it as long as Doug Williams was getting the better of him.
Well, it's not over by a long shot, I don't think. Steve versus the Anarchist, Doug Williams, is not over by a long shot at all. But this is what matters at the moment as we see Kerry Cabrero and Danny Royal, the best of friends, taking it to each one another right now in the center of the ring.
Well, it's correct. As you said earlier, Ross, this is every man for himself. This is basically a wrestling civil war. It's friend against friend. It's brother against brother. It's father against wife. It's granddad against grandmammy. Stop me, Ross, if I'm just exaggerating too much.
Steve, thanks for those interesting points. Steve Morgan once again proving he knows the difference between a power slam and a power drill as Danny Royal is eliminated over the top rope and down to the mats on the outside. Danny Royal has been eliminated. Kerry Cabrero advances in the tournament.
Very much as I predicted, Ross, if you'll remember. But once again, we're left with the proposition. Who is next?
It's Mad Dog!
And he can't wait to get in that ring fast enough.
And he takes it straight to Kerry Cabrero. Elbows and knees in the corner, a great whip, and we're going to see some hard-hitting action here, I'm sure, between these two great athletes.
Well, I'm looking longer term. We know the last man will be the fallen angel, Christopher Daniels, and if there's anyone I would love to see up against that damn Yank, it's the Mad Dog.
Flatliner almost, but Kerry isn't going for the cover. What's going on here? Kerry's ascending to the top rope now. This could be it all over if he hits this big move. A great leg drop. Cover him, Kerry, cover him.
Oh,
1, 2, 3.
Unbelievable!
What do you say to that, Mr. Morgan?
I don't believe what I'm seeing here.
Go on, have another look at that tremendous leg drop from Kerry Cabrero, Steve. Your boy's out of there. Kerry Cabrero advances once again.
That music tells us that Phil Powers is the next man to enter the ring, and it's lovely to see him greeted in such a way by the Mad Dog.
Lovely, Steve, lovely. That's disgusting. I really wish I could see things from your point of view. Unfortunately, I can't put my head up my own posterior that far.
You watch your mouth.
That's disgusting. Mad Dog had no part in attacking Phil Powers. But now, surely, the favourite to advance next has got to be Kerry. That was a tremendous beating Phil took an outside as we see Kerry hit the penalty kick.
Well, Mad Dog was my great hope against the fallen angel, but now I'm going to have to go with Kerry.
1, 2, almost. Just a 2 count there from Mr. Cabrero as he takes the match to Phil Powers. But Phil comes back now with some knife-edge chops off the ropes, but gets caught with a boot to the midsection, Steve.
That's a polite way of saying it.
A drop kick to the back of the head. And that's going to rattle Phil Powers' skull, just adding to the injuries he's already carrying. Of course, he had his ribs cracked at the hands of Mad Dog a few weeks ago, and then an interview was interrupted by Mad Dog once again, this time alongside with Johnny Storm. You know, Phil is an injured man in the ring. His doctors had advised him that he shouldn't be competing in this match, but he's got too much heart. He wants to win this belt. He wants to win this title, Steve.
Well, he's nice and softened up now for Kerry, because over the past few weeks, as you say, Ross, he has taken one hell of a beating, and now we're going to see him served up on a plate for Kerry. Oh my God, I don't believe it!
Kerry Cabrero has been eliminated. He had to be one of the favourites. Already in the tournament, he had eliminated Mad Dog McPhee. He had eliminated his former tag partner, Danny Royal. 4 weeks ago, he downed Gran Naniwa. He had to be a favourite, but now he's been eliminated, Steve. I can't believe it. He almost eliminated himself. In fact, he did.
Well, yet again, we're seeing upset after upset. But hopefully, the man with the thunder can deliver some justice. Johnny Storm, you are now my only hope against the fallen angel. Because Phil Powers is a wounded man. He is no opposition at all. And if you want to keep that belt, and if you want to keep that trophy in this country, then Johnny Storm is our only hope.
I keep saying why. Why is Johnny Storm showboating to the crowd? He should be going straight after Phil Powers and using Phil's problems to his advantage.
Johnny Storm's a gentleman. He's letting Phil get his breath back.
Well, it is a first time for everything, Steve, I suppose, as Johnny Storm lifts Phil to his feet, sends him off the ropes, and hits a great side backbreaker there.
Well, I wonder if the fallen angel is watching this match with some interest, because it looks very much as though he's going to have to go up against Johnny Storm.
A moonsault, gets a 1, gets a 2, almost, Steve, almost. Phil Powers was eliminated, 2 7/8 of a count. But what's happening here? Johnny Storm on the top rope. Phil Powers runs up and hits a tremendous drop kick.
Oh, no!
He's been eliminated.
Yet again, we are seeing upset after upset in this 10-man TV tournament.
Phil Powers is on a roll as he eliminates Johnny Storm there. The last man is coming to ringside now. It's going to be the fallen angel, Christopher Daniels, against Flying Phil Powers. I can barely look. I want to see Phil win. I really do. I said in week 1 that I'm a great fan of him, but my head tells me that he hasn't got a chance against a fresh fallen angel, Steve.
Now, you know better than anyone, Ross, I am not a big Phil Powers fan, but for the sake of patriotism and for the sake of keeping that trophy and that belt in this country where it belongs, and especially after the Fallen Angels' comments here a few weeks ago about England and about English men, I have to go, and I can't believe I'm saying it. I've got to support Phil Powers, but he's not going to do it.
Well, I don't have such a problem with fallen angel Christopher Daniels talking about Englishmen, but what I do want to see is Phil, the great spirit, the great heart he's shown in this competition so far. It would be tremendous if he could win this title. It would be tremendous for him, for his family, and of course fans, the people that matter. It would be tremendous for you. As we see now, Christopher Daniels, the fallen angel, choking Phil Powers on the ropes. As he showboats to the crowd, he doesn't care about the fans, he just wants to win.
I am distraught, Ross. I am completely distraught, because I wanted someone to go up there against the fallen angel and do the business, but Powers, he's wounded, he's exhausted, he's half the man he should be, and this is just an easy payday for Christopher Daniels.
You know, winning the title I don't think is the main priority of Chris Daniels. Embarrassing the citizens of the United Kingdom is what he is all about. He wants to make fun of them, but look, a 1, a 2, almost a 3 count.
Ross,
almost.
You are absolutely right. The arrogance of the man, he just wants to humiliate us. He wants to embarrass us.
Look at that tremendous move. Phil Powers dropped on the back of his head. A tremendous belly-to-back suplex. No bridge, all impact.
This is painful to watch, and I'm sure it's painful to be in the ring for Phil Powers.
And it's painful for Phil's family as well, I'm sure. They're really going to be encouraging him to go on and win this title. But Christopher Daniels is giving Phil a beating like he's almost never had before, I'm sure.
You know, Ross, we saw Sorsha earlier from the UWA bring the trophy down ringside. The reason I think they haven't brought the belt down is they know damn well that Christopher Daniels is going to walk away with it, and it's just too painful and too humiliating to even think about.
That wouldn't surprise me at all, Steve. That really would not surprise me. As we see now, Chris Daniels applying an abdominal stretch there. Look at the pain. Look at the pain on Phil Powers' face. And he uses the ropes. That's illegal. He uses the ropes for extra leverage. Referee Hellman should have spotted that.
Russ, I never thought I would be cheering on or supporting Phil Powers, but just look at the arrogance in Daniels' face. Just look at the sheer contempt that he has for his opponent,
but
and
Phil Powers,
for the audience, and for me and you as members of the United Kingdom.
Phil Powers is doing it for us, Steve, as he hits a great fisherman suplex for a 1, for a 2. Oh, just 2. Can Phil come back? Look at the heart. Look at the strength. What's going on here? Oh, no. Oh, no, no, no. This could be painful.
Yes! Ah. There's some fight left in Phil Powers yet. Join us after the break.
Wrestling Rampage, and here we see Stevie Knight and Doug the Anarchist Williams, who eliminated each other both earlier. Then the Beef Man was eliminated by his former tag team partner Kerry Cabrero, who went on to eliminate Mad Dog McPhee.
And then Mad Dog helped Phil Powers into the ring for his contest against Kerry. But Kerry, I don't know what he was thinking about there, disposed of himself over the ring.
And then we see Phil Powers on a roll, eliminating Kerry Cabrero and finishing off Johnny Storm, which leads us to where we are now as Flying Phil Powers ascends to the top rope to go for A flying headbutt, but Christopher Daniels is smart and moves out of the way, which lets flying Phil Powers crash down onto the canvas. And we have a cover, a 1, a 2. But Chris Daniels complains of a slow count, and he's now using an illegal chokehold. One of these men, Steve, is going to walk away with the TV title.
Well, Christopher Daniels upset there because there's someone in the crowd who just won't let him take that belt back to America. This is what we need. A bit of patriotism here, a bit of belief in our fellow countrymen, Ross. Do you agree?
I agree, but look at that. A tremendous Arabian moonsault. Tremendous action here in the Ultimate Wrestling Alliance. A cover, just two counts there. Look at that awesome maneuver. You may not like that man's attitude, as I've said before. You must respect his ability, Steve.
Never, Ross, never!
And Phil Powers off the ropes. He's getting the count. 1, 2. Almost, Steve, almost. Phil almost won it. A small package. He beat Magdon McBeal like that. But he doesn't get it this time. But just as we say, Phil is coming back. Chris Daniels, the Fallen Angel, comes straight back at Phil with a tremendous enziguri kick, rattling the skull of Phil Powers.
Well, let's take another look at that, because we thought Phil had come back from the dead, but Christopher Daniels there.
1, 2. Oh, just a 2 count, so close. Almost a 3, Steve. It's getting close to the end of the match here. I don't think Phil can stick around in it for much longer. But what must Christopher Daniels do to put away flying Phil Powers?
Well,
He's
that's
tried
the question, Ross.
Look at that
using
maneuver.
every move he has, but nothing.
A reversal.
Nothing.
A reversal. 1, 2. Oh, again, 2 quick 2 counts.
Nothing he does can overcome the bulldog spirit within Phil Powers.
Uncle Sam versus the Bulldog. We are seeing it all here tonight in the UWA.
We certainly have seen it all, Ross. You know, I'm still stunned by some of the results I've seen this evening in this 10-man TV tournament. Some people I never imagined being beaten.
1, 2. Again, Phil Powers almost sneaks the victory there as he sends the Fallen Angel off the ropes. And a tremendous power slam. 1, 2. Oh, foot on the ropes. It was just the foot on the ropes there that saved the Fallen Angel, Steve.
Could this be the resurrection of Phil Powers?
But he's setting up for one of his trademark maneuvers, Angel Wings in the UWA. And this is going to be a look. Phil Powers, he's out.
I can't look, Ross.
1, 2, no. Only 2 9/10. Phil's great cardiovascular conditioning is keeping him in that match.
Thank you, Dr. Ross.
As the Fallen Angel is on the top rope now, what's he going for here?
Unbearable!
A tremendous moonsault, but he seems to have caught himself in the lower regions there, possibly on Phil's elbow.
Well, nice one, Phil. Get him in the knackers. But even
1, 2, it's all over. No! What can Christopher Daniels do to put away Phil Powers?
That's right, that's what the Yank is asking himself now. He's saying, what does it take? What do I have to do to beat this Limey?
Moonsaults, the Angel Wings, power bombs, power slams. What will it take to put Phil Powers down? What will it take to make flying Phil Powers look at the light for 1, 2, and 3?
Look at that support now for Phil Powers. Look at that great feeling of patriotism. This is what Daniels will never overcome. This is what made this country so great. This sceptred isle of warm beer, of cricket on village greens, of queuing without complaining, of the shipping forecast, barbecues being rained off on bank holidays, and Phil Powers kicking Christopher Daniels' backside.
Yes. Well, give me a whiskey and I'll be happy as we see this great chin lock applied by Christopher Daniels here. And Phil comes back yet again. but just as he comes back, he's knocked straight back down to the canvas. Christopher Daniels is saying it's all over. He's showboating to the crowd. Look at the arrogance. He's saying this match is finished. He's setting up for something here, and I think it could be all over now.
Well, viewers, I can tell you I'm watching this from behind my hands.
But Phil Powers reverses it, and Phil has got the victory.
Nowhere!
He did it. He did it. He said it all along. And now maybe he'll start getting the recognition he deserves.
Well, I thought the end was nigh for Phil Powers. And he pulled it from absolutely nowhere. He surprised himself. Even he can't believe it.
Blood, sweat, and tears. That man has done it all. He's lifting the UWA television title tonight here in Indoor Arena at Crystal Palace. Phil Powers has done it. He's won. He's the first UWA Ultimate Wrestling Alliance television champion. This is a great moment for Phil. He's saying how much this means to him. He's saying how great the UWA is. But most importantly, he's saying he's done this for his family.
Well, Ross, it came from nowhere, as I said, and they thought it was all over for Phil Powers. And how wrong we all were. Because when the last rites were being administered by the fallen angel, it was him who died.
Well, he certainly lost the match. He didn't die. I don't see Big Papa T about at this moment. But there's the man who is the champion. He's done it. He said it all along, as I said earlier. He is now going to have to watch his back. There's going to be all sorts of people that are going to be after him to get that title. Of course, there's loads of people in the UWA that will want to fight Phil for that title. But the UWA's phone is ringing non-stop. There's people saying, we want to wrestle in the UWA. That's the place where it's at. We want to take on Phil Powers. We want to beat him. We want to win that title, Steve.
Unbelievable, his resilience against the fallen angel.
Tremendous, intense matchup. And here we see the finish once again as Phil launched the fallen angel over the top rope. You know, this match is so intense. I'm almost losing my voice, Steve.
Well, that's a blessing in disguise in my book, Ross. But for one night only, I am a Phil Powers fan. It's like watching Man United in Europe. Once he went up against a big Yank, I had to support him. And here we see him now. He's gone straight to his family.
That's one of Phil's kids.
Or indeed, I hope it's his family, or he might get done for kidnapping.
Of course, we know how much Phil's family means to him, and I'm sure he'll be dedicating this victory to his wife and kids. Ain't that sweet, Steve?
Almost brings a tear to my eye, Ross, let me tell you.
Oh, don't say it.
The only time I've seen you cry, though, is when you've been forced to get around it.
Well, fans, we hope you've enjoyed this tremendous action. 10 athletes, 10 great competitors, and a winner here tonight, Flying Phil Powers.
Ladies and gentlemen, the first ever UWA television champion, Flying Phil Powers. Celebrating with the fans, but most importantly, sharing that joy with his family. Battered and bloody, but in the end, undefeated. Thank you for watching. Please join us again next week when we'll learn about all the other UWA titles that'll be on the line in the coming weeks. But until then, let's end by once again saying congratulations to Phil Powers, UWA television champion.
No comment.
I'm gonna win.
Could be a problem here.
ladies and gentlemen, I confirm that they have both been eliminated at this stage.
You're going to see the Fly Phil Powers become the first UWA television champion.